In Go, an if statement can be used for more than just checking a condition. It can also be used as an initialization statement. That means what you can do is you can initialize a variable as part of the if statement and use that variable directly inside of the condition. And so some use cases for this, one of the most common use cases is checking errors returned from functions, validating results from function calls, avoiding temporary variables that live longer than needed, and writing clearer, more compact conditional logic. Again, this is one of those things where you have to see it in action. You have to look at the syntax in order to understand it. So let's get into a demo. First of all, quick look at the syntax. So the syntax typically looks like this. It will be if followed by the init statement, so initializing a variable with a value, for example, and then the condition after a semicolon. Okay, so let's try that out. First of all, if, and then we'll use a length example here. So we're going to say length as a variable, and then using the len function, we will get the length of the word hello in bytes. And so this is our initialization statement. We follow that with a semicolon and then just a normal if type condition in which we can use this length variable. So here if we say length is greater than 3, if that evaluates to true, then execute the code inside of this if condition block. So here we'll just print the length of length, and we'll also print a message to say that string is long enough, i.e. it is greater than 3. Go run main.go, length is 5, string is long enough. So once again, we've done an initialization statement, and then we have checked a condition using a variable which was initialized as part of the initialization statement. So length equals len hello runs first and initializes a variable. The condition length is greater than 3 uses that initialized value, and the same variable is also available inside the if block. And one important thing to note is that length does not exist outside of this if block. So if I try to print it here, you notice my ID isn't even recognizing it as a variable which is available. So we should see some kind of error here. And so here it's telling us undefined length. Basically, length variable is undefined. It is only defined here and inside of this if conditional block. Okay, let's have a look at one of the most common uses of if statement init clauses, and that is checking if an error has come back from a function, and then therefore if an error does come back from a function you can do something about it there and then. So here again, initialization statement, we're going to say error, and you'll notice that I've created this load config function here which is just returning an error every time. So initialization statement, we should get an error back from load config because that is the only option which I've hard coded into there. And then if error does not equal nil, so you'll see this pattern so many times in Go. Error does not equal nil, so therefore inside of this if conditional block we're actually going to do something about it. So we'll print the error and we'll just return early. If error is nil, then we'll do something else, or our program shall continue. So let's go and run this. As you can see, we've got the error, and so inside of that if conditional we've printed out missing config file. Let's do the other side of this. Let's actually hard code a nil return to represent a nil error. And so here we're still going to do the call, we're still going to do the initialization, but this time error will have a value of nil. And so therefore it will skip this part because the condition we are checking for is if error is not nil. And this time we should see config loaded successfully. Let's go and run this. Config loaded successfully. So what just happened Error is declared inside of the if. If an error is returned, it is handled immediately, and error is not accessible outside of the if, which should avoid accidental reuse. And again, this pattern that you've just seen here appears everywhere in Go code. And in fact, here's an example from my Build Your First Go app course. So here we're trying to do some JSON decoding, and we're seeing if we get an error back from this decode method. And if error does not equal nil, then in this test, what we do is we produce a fatal error and the test goes no further. And if you want to check out that full course, I'll leave a link in the description. And something else you should check out is the lesson text, which you can find on GitHub. I'll also leave a link to that, because in there we go into just a little expansion really, because it shows you that the init clause, or the variable declared in the init clause, is also available in the else block. And there's a little example there to show how that works. But the scope ends after the if else. So this variable here, n, will be available in if and also inside of else. So if this evaluates to false, you still have the n variable available to you in the else. And then it just explains a little bit about scope as well. So well worth checking out the lesson text for all these lessons, because I always go into things in a little bit more detail there that we don't really have the full time for in a Go Byte video lesson. Okay, time for a challenge, and again this is going to be one of those which also involves a little bit of thinking back to how we've done things in previous lessons on different topics. So here we go. Write a program that calls a function, gets username, that returns a string and an error. So we've done stuff on functions which return more than one value or return a value and an error. Part 2, use an if init clause to call the function. Print an error message if an error is returned, otherwise print the username. And it says you can simulate the function returning either a name or an error. So if you're going to return an error, you need to think about the 0 value for a string, something to think about there. I'm sure you can figure this out thinking back to the stuff that we've worked on. Pause me now and give that a go. Okay, so here's my function. Get username is going to return a string and an error. And so in here, just for simulation purposes, I'm just returning an empty string, which is a 0 value for strings. And I'm also returning a error, user not found. So if, and then we want the initialization clause, but this function is returning 2 values. So we should have a name and an error. And so we can grab those by just using a comma to separate them. So if error does not equal nil, then we want to do something here. And I think we'll just print the error and we shall return early. But if error is nil, then just to show that we can use those variables in an else block also, in that scenario, we'll just print the username. So here, first of all, I'm expecting to see an error. Let's go and run this. So error, user not found. Then let's just go and change this. I'm going to have a name of Gary, and for the error, we're going to have a nil. And so therefore, when we call this, we should get Gary and nil. Therefore, error will be nil. And so it won't be this code which is executed, it will be the code in the else block, and therefore we should see a username Gary printed out. Let's test that theory. Username Gary. Okay, how did you get on with that one? A little bit more to think about, a little bit of diving into the past for functions which return more than one value and where one value might be an error or nil. And then we've just done the same as what we've done in this lesson. We've initialized variables, we've checked a condition, and then inside of an if and an else, we've been able to use those variables. Hope you've enjoyed this one. Like I say, there are links to the extra lesson text as well as the Build Your First Go app course, which was referenced in this video. Give the video a like, make sure you're subscribed if you want YouTube to show you more Go Bytes, and I'll see you in the next one.